I'm filmmaker Alex Cox, and like many of us, I'm very concerned about fake news. I first became aware of the phenomenon of fake news during the Vietnam War, when all the mainstream newspapers and television stations said that there was a domino effect, and that if we didn't win, or the Americans didn't win in the Vietnam War, all of Southeast Asia would collapse under the communist jackboot. This was my first exposure to fake news. More recently, we've had to deal with fake news in the context of the invasion of Afghanistan, the war against Serbia, the war against Iraq. We went to Afghanistan in search of Osama bin Laden, supposedly, only he wasn't there. And we invaded Iraq and destroyed that country on the pretext that its dictator possessed weapons of mass destruction, when he didn't. And newspapers like the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Guardian, the Observer were all complicit in presenting these untrue stories, this fake news to the public, in order to justify a war or a series of wars. Recently, the Washington Post was purchased by Jeff Bezos, the third richest man in the United States, who you probably know better as the billionaire right-wing owner of Amazon. Bezos has many business interests, and it certainly helps him to own a newspaper. Nevertheless, it was shocking for me when in January of this year, the Washington Post published a story about an anonymous website which said that 200 sources of information in the US were fountains of Russian propaganda. Now, it's one thing for some crazy right-wing website with links to the CIA and allegedly to Ukrainian fascists, an anonymous website, to come up with a blacklist of 200 other websites that you're not supposed to look at, or that's supposed to be Russian linked. It's another matter when a major newspaper, even a newspaper as discredited as the Bezos Post, presents this story as if it were a legitimate news item and not fake news. And fake news has an impact. Look at what's happened now that our dear friends have introduced a new search algorithm which mysteriously puts left-wing, anti-war, left-wing economic websites all at a disadvantage. So if your site yesterday was ranking on the first page, you're down to page 50 today. My concern isn't so much that antiwar.com will lose its support, because it's a great site and people know about it, but that new people who might be concerned, might be interested in the subject, might want to have a non-fake news experience from an aggregator like anti-war rather than from a propaganda organ like the New York Times or the Bezos Post, is being denied that through Google's new ranking. So let's take a look at some of these sites that the Bezos Post warned us about and that Google don't want us to find. And lo and behold, we are at the antiwar.com site, which is a very good site. Here it is, antiwar.com. As you see, it's essentially a news aggregator. Today is Nagasaki Day. So there's a picture of that bomb exploding. What else was condemned by these guys? A group called the World Socialists, who say they've seen their traffic go down by 33% since Google rejects upsetting user experiences and conspiracy theories. There's this information clearinghouse.info, which is not-for-profit global justice site. A lot of stuff about Trump. They don't like Trump. The Black Agenda Report. It's a political site, a left-wing site. Truth Out. Truth Out is a left-wing website, a left-wing news website. Doesn't like Trump. Naked Capitalism, a site that I'm not familiar with, but which they also identified. It's an economics website. It has a lovely picture of two little animals. Cute. Let's look at another one of the sites we're not supposed to see. Consortium News by Robert Parry is a very good site, very interesting. Not in favor of the mainstream media, new twist in the Seth Rich murder case, endangering a landmark nuclear treaty, which is a very important story. Neocons leverage Trump hate for more wars. Okay, so it's a left-wing site, but the standard of writing on the consortium site is quite high, in my opinion. Drudge Report is a right-wing site. FBI Manafort raided bank records. Picture of Steve Bannon in Guam. Residents put trust in God. So it seems fairly right-wing and not particularly keen on Russia, or at least not very keen on North Korea. WikiLeaks. The principal agent of WikiLeaks, or one of its founders, Julian Assange, has been character assassinated for years by The Guardian and the other mainstream media founts. But I think that the work that Julian Assange did and the work that WikiLeaks has done has been tremendous. If you haven't seen Collateral Murder, just to get a little taste of what happened to Iraq, it's a very worthwhile little film to watch. You check it out for yourself if you're able to find wikileaks.org. And so it goes. Let me finish this little troll with Counterpunch. Counterpunch is a great site. Counterpunch is like a daily series of essays from different leftist perspectives. Some of this stuff is really stupid and just people just going off. You know, they read the mainstream media and they respond to it and they tell you their take on things. But there's also very good articles here, very well thought out, a real concern about nuclear war, a desire for peace, a detestation of injustice. So these are all good sites, it seems to me, but thanks to Google's new search protocol, their algorithms have delisted Counterpunch, Democracy Now!, ACLU site, WikiLeaks Common Dreams, The Real News, and, particularly outrageous, Stallman.org and GNU.org, which I'm sure you're aware are the personal site of Richard Stallman, a lovely man and a very intelligent person. Also downgraded has been GNU.org, which is the site of the GNU operating system. Outrageous. But then again, let's not forget the CIA. The CIA has a project called Outlaw Country, which targets GNU Linux. And who knows? Perhaps they're users. Anyway, check out GNU Linux. It's a tremendous operating system. I have a couple of boxes. All my transportable computing is done on a GNU Linux operating system to which Richard contributed. Check out Counterpunch, check out antiwar.com. Check out all of these sites that you're not supposed to see. You know, it's important. It's important not to let these people win. When fake news comes to dominate the mainstream media and when you have to look online for a possible source of dispassionate information or of a variety of conflicting sources of information, Internet's the best place to do it now. But change your browser. Don't browse with Google. Google is not to be trusted. Steer clear of Google's products. Steer clear as much as you can of Amazon's products. And thank you for listening.
Love and peace and God bless America. Love and peace and God bless America. Smart and free and secure and healthier. Smart economics making us all wealthier. Trickle, trickle down, trickle down. Smart love raining down on all of us.
Smart Love is a trademark of the Smart World Corporation.